Thank you for joining the meeting today. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Group 5, I'd like to welcome you all for today's discussion. We are looking forward to present with you today the poem To the Filipino Youth by Dr. Jose Rizal. But before we proceed to the discussion, let me ask you first, have you ever heard or remembered this line? Ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. So our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, proclaimed that. So way back when we were in high school, nakadungog naman jud taana from our teachers and from our classmates. Or nakagamit naman jud taana nga line for our essays, poem, ug uban pa, even in our elementary days. So the youth in that line was not just referred to the youth of his time, but to all the youth of the past, present, and for the future. So we are the present now. They called us the millennial generation, the generation whose world revolves around social media and a hyper reality. But do you think this is the ideal youth of Dr. Jose Rizal, that he thinks as the hope of his fatherland? Or did you think that we Filipino youth nowadays lived up to what Rizal wanted us to be? So we need to realize that we have a duty or a responsibility or a shoe to fill for our country to progress. So I am telling this because this is related to the topic that we are going to tackle today. So for now, I will be discussing a short history of the poem. A la Juventud Filipina, or To the Filipino Youth in English, is a poem written in Spanish by a Filipino writer and a patriot, Jose Rizal. Rizal wrote this literary poem when he was still studying at the University of Santo Tomas. This is first presented on 1879. Rizal submitted this piece for a poem contest organized for Filipinos by the Manila Lyceum of Art and Literature. At the age of 18, this work is beaming with the strong messages to convince readers, the youth in particular, that they are the hope of the nation. Rizal won the first prize and was rewarded with a feather-shaped silver pen and a diploma. By the way, guys, feel free to ask any questions. However, I do ask that you wait until the end of the presentation. Hold high the brow serene, youth, where now you stand, let the bright sheen of your grace be seen. Fair hope of my fatherland, come now, thou genius grand, and bring down inspiration with thy mighty hand. Swifter than the wind's violation, raise the eager mind to higher station. So in the first few stanza, it shows confidence, or it implies that youth must be more confident. So si Rizal nag-encourage nato by telling us to hold our heads high, for we possess talents, skills, and abilities that would make our country proud. Come down with the blessing light of art and science to the flight. Youth and there untie the chains that heavy lie, your spirit free to blight. See how in flaming zone amid the shadows thrown, the Spaniard's holy hand, a crown's resplendent band, proffers to this Indian land. So in this stanza, now talks about descent and a downward motion of the great genius to feel the earthly strokes of art and science with their magnificent ideas. Rizal calls them to break the chains that bind their intellect. This poem may have been written during the Spanish colonization, but the essence of it applies to the present generation as well.
though, who now would rise on the wings of rich emprise, seeking from Olympian skies song of sweetest strain, softer than ambrosial rain, thou whose voice divine rivals Philomen's refrain, and with varied light through the night beneath, free mortality from pain. Thou who by sharp strife wakest thy mind to life, and the memory bright of my genius light makest immortal in its strength. The poem is a message primarily to tell the importance of one's love and appreciation to his dialect or language, for it is the bridge, an intermediary connecting people's country to each other. Rizal praised the rising generation. This poem can be considered as Rizal's first testimony and presentation of his nationalism. In this literary piece, he clearly referred to the Philippines as his home or motherland. He thought in the poem relates to the role of the youth with the nation building. He composed the poem to dedicate to the youth of the Philippines. He wanted the Filipino youth to use their capabilities, talents, and skills to stand out not only for their own praise and success but also for the praise and success of their own motherland. The Philippines, Dr. Jose Rizal wanted the Filipino youth to build up their abilities and use them to help those who are in need. Also, he challenged the youth through his poem to refine and to nurture their talents in the arts, to invigorate and reinforce their knowledge of the sciences, and to look forward and communicate their chain of servitude. On the other hand, the message this poem tries to convey is holding a very strong one, strong enough to persuade those who are to be persuaded. As one of those individuals, I could really feel the nationalic courage with me glow brighter the moment I finished reading the poem. It was like telling me that I am one of the existing hopes of our country and that through my skills, abilities, expertise, and knowledge of things, I am capable of protecting its freedom against oppressive force that may come through. Moreover, it was like telling me that together with my co-youth, I am responsible for preserving the Philippines as a nation for me and the rest of the Filipinos and not for the foreigners. In this present area, youth improvement was never an easy task, but I believe everything God was invented is meant to be accomplished. If we, the nation's youth, will hold and nurture everything our parents, mentors, and leaders invested, we the youth can grow to be responsible adults for tomorrow.
Although in accents clear, or fables to appeal is dear, or by the brushed magic art, thickest from the nature store part, to fake it on the simple canvas length. Rizal her inscribe or label the youth, or by comparing our abilities to a magical brush that can capture even elevated views and the most splendid charm on a blank canvas. The important value here is that we must to believe our ability and potential. Even when people around do not believe, we must show them that we can do better for our nation. Rizal believed us, the youth, who gave hope to give freedom in our nation. So believe yourself. Go forth and in the sacred fire of thy genius to the laurel may aspire, to spread around the fame and in victory acclaim. Through widest spears the human name. Day, oh happy day, fair Filipinas, for thy land. So bless the power today, the places in thy way, this favor and this fortune grant. In these two last stanza, Rizal yearning the youth, or us to run for our glorious crown, awaits us to claim. Word spear means world, that showing Rizal believed us as a future Filipino youth as scintillating as those in any other state, and as able to affirm even with the strongest power. The value that we can get her is we must fight our ignorance in our life in order to get the future that we dream of. Even you feel misery in your life, stand still, fight back, and be the youth that Rizal believe, who can give hope to our country and be standable as other nation. As a message that I understand in this poem, which is to the Filipino youth, wrote by Dr. Jose Rizal, the main message to the Philippine youth is it urged to the Filipino youth to reach our potential as a present youth and to the future generation by harnessing our skills and talent for a better future to our country, to give us motivation and to give freedom to the youth from ignorance and human dignity. Rizal wrote this because he wants us to wake up from being under an Spanish rule. Rizal believed that the youth is the hope of the country. At sa ating lingwahe, ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. Tayo ang pag-asa ng bayan. That's all. Thank you.